1 minute, hold on. He's here. Let me just give me his invitation.
On video.
You're live, by the way.
Yeah? Here. Give yourself
Yeah, first of all, after the shaking hands. I look terrible.
Now I need Donnie Kramer, that's it, and we're good. Okay, can't do the bar mitzvah without Donnie Kramer.
I think you put the library's invitation in my in-laws box.
You got it, you got it. Oh, you got it. Oh, I was wondering why you only got it in the shots.
Yeah, it's alright.
Okay, what
I have to
else?
get to him real quick, so.
Alright, we're starting from the Mishnah. We're holding over here. We got all the way there. Mishnah Daf Yomi. We gotta start. So the Mishnah, the first Mishnah in the Perek, brings us a list of things that have chumras and kulas, and it only went on to describe one of them. Now we're going to describe the second thing, and then next Mishnah is the next thing, etc. So you have Bizdei Achuzah. You have a field that you got the Yerusha from your father that's Chalukas Haaretz. It's part of the Chalukas Haaretz. And you magdish it. What happens when you magdish a field that's Zdei Achuzah? So you could redeem it after 2 years. The size of the field, you have a certain size that you can plant a certain amount, it's 50 shekel. It's a shekel per year and a pudya, because you only have 49 years. And it's 50, so you have to take that extra shekel and divide it by 49. But Kitzur, every year is 1 shekel and a pudya. So it says like this. What's the chumr in the kula? Same kind of thing like we had yesterday. By Arachin, it doesn't matter if the person is a good-looking person or a bad-looking person. You give the same Arachin. So by field also, it doesn't matter if it's a good field or a bad field, one that produces well, doesn't produce. It's always the same pidger. 1 shekel and a punjay per year. Garbage field. Beautiful pardesim, doesn't matter. It's always the same amount. Shekel kesef. What's his name mikno? His name mikno is a field that someone bought from somebody else. It could be from Chalukas Haaretz, but somebody sold it. Somebody sold it off. The purchaser went and gave it to the Beis Hamikdash. So Noisen Ishav, similar to what we had in the first Mishnah, by the way, it kind of reflects the first Mishnah. The first Mishnah has Erechin. No good. Yeshua is trying to save us money.
He'll save us more if he poisons us, and we can't come and then he won't even have to make coffee.
Maybe there's a problem with the fridge. It's a brand new fridge. All right. So we had. Not that anybody talks about it. That doesn't make a difference really. But we had yesterday. If somebody does Erechin, there's a certain shear for Erechin, and somebody does instead of Erechin, he does Shavi Pleni Olai, whatever the lashon is. Over here also you have Zdei Achuzah, and then you have this Zdei Mikno, which is the Shavius, has nothing to do with what the Torah says, Shekel Kesef. It's exactly whatever it's worth, that's how much you give the Bedek HaBayis. You have Elezer Oimer, Zdei Mikno, Echad Zdei Mikno, Echad Zdei Achuzah. There's no difference in terms of how much you redeem as Zdei Mikno and Zdei Achuzah. Again, Zdei Achuzah is you inherited this, the milk is no good, they say. Check out all of them.
No, it's the fridge. They get birds on top.
How do you check all of them? Make sure they're all.
Seriously, am I drinking spoiled enough?
No, you're not.
You happen not to. Everybody else has. Okay, so Kitzer. So Zdei Mikna is a field that you bought from somebody that had got a Chalukas Haaretz, and Zdei Achuz is the guy that got the Chalukas Haaretz gave it straight to Hegdish. So Mabing Zdei Achuz is Zdei Mikna, but according to Lezer, it is. Look, you see in the pasuk there's a difference. So there's one difference. Zdei Achuz u Noisen Chaimesh, Zdei Mikna Einoi Noisen Chaimesh. In Zdei Mikna, you don't have to pay the extra fifth. Now, just as a side note. Anytime the Torah talks about a fifth, it doesn't mean the fifth that we know about. it's the fifth milabar. Yeah, the whole milabar milabar. Again, fifth really means 25%. It's a quarter. So if you owe Hegdish, let's say it's 4 years before Yovel, so you owe how much? 4 shekel. If you're left with 4 shekel and you redeem it, you have to add 25%. You have to add 1 whole shekel, which is 5 shekel. Then you take the total amount of 5 shekel and you say a fifth. It's the same amount. It's 25% versus 20%, but the Gemara calls it 20% because once you add the 25% to the amount and you make the total, then you take off 20%.
You have to gross it up.
Yeah? Avi, you're looking at me like I'm not. Again, you have $400. You owe let's say you owe Bedek Abayis $400, 4 shekel, but in our day, $400. So you have to add a chomish, you have to add 25%. So you add $100, it's total $500. The Mishnah calls that $100 20% because the total of $500, the $100 is 20% of $500. It's how you look at it. Do you look at it at the total after you added it or before? In America, we call it 25%. In time of the Gemara, they used to call it 20%. It's the same exact amount. It's just you look at it before or after.
It's called grossing up the net.
How? The accountant is going to tell us how.
It's called grossing up the net.
Grossing out the net.
Pre-funding of
The net
post-funding.
figure.
Yeah, it's the net figure. It's just
I get it.
for us, it's just not convenient and it doesn't make sense. In those days, that's how they did it. But it's a yesod for all of Shas. When it says chomish, it doesn't really mean 20%. It means 25%. Fine. Omar Rav Huna. Higdish soda melea ilonis. So Rav Huna is coming along and saying, look, there's a difference in a field between the actual soil of the field and the produce that's on the field. I would like to differentiate between the two of them and separate them out. So if a person was makdish a field that had a lot of trees, like the guy that trains the dogs in Bet Shemesh told me, I forgot his name already, David something, he trains German shepherds to smell the certain insect in a palm tree, because a palm tree could produce, how much? $15,000 worth of something crazy, something with sugar per year, of dates. Like, I thought it's $100, he said, no, it's in the thousands of dollars per tree. So you have the tree, you have 1 meter of land in the, when you go to Eilat, you see hundreds of these palm trees. How much does the land cost over there? $10. But the tree is what? So Rav Huna says, look, the tree is different than the land. You have to divide it out. No, it's a peldic thing. The dog could come over to a tree. This tree has it, this tree doesn't. And he also trains the dogs to smell money. Literally, money has a smell. And when you come through the airport, his dogs are on the first.
A bomb sniffing dog.
Bomb is different.
A bomb sniffing dog, yeah, sure.
I thought this is pecunia non olet.
What?
Pecunia non olet.
What's it?
That's what they taught me in school.
The what?
Pecunia non olet.
This is something English. Okay.
No, this is Latin.
Yeah, Shema. What does it mean?
Pecunia, money, non olet, does not smell.
Ah. You never smelled a fresh dollar bill out of the ATM machine. Has a special smell, no?
No, we're talking about the history of that bill.
Bro,
they get new.
No. No, he put it all together. He mixed them up. He figured the average smell, the average thing is gonna. So you have to figure the trees on their true market value. Okay, the karka, I'll give it to you. I'll give you a shekel per year. But there's machlokes here. As we're going to see in a second, this is a madoma that says when your magdish is buying raw, Rav Huna holds buying yafa. What does that mean? That means that Rav Huna holds that a person wants to be magdish in the way that hegdish benefits the most. How's hegdish going to benefit the most? If they could separate it out. If you only give hegdish 1 shekel, 1 lousy shekel per akur, and there's 100 palm trees on it, so hegdish doesn't benefit anything. I think that when somebody is makdish something to Bedek HaBayis, he wants Bedek HaBayis to benefit. That's what Rav Huna says. Look at our Mishnah. It says Mefurish in our Mishnah that it's what's the chumra and the kula when it comes to Zdei Achuzah. It doesn't matter if somebody's magdish the worst thing ever, some sandy thing in the middle of a city. So like it says Bepardesois, it's a vineyard in Safsati. But the Mishnah says that even if it has a vineyard and it has trees, it has produce, you still only give a shekel and a pudyon. That's it. I wasn't talking about it literally had a vineyard in it. I was saying that it's such a great land that you can plant the vineyard. But if it has a vineyard, you'd actually have to pay for the vineyard separately. Eisveid is a brayz that says Beis Zera, Einli Elo Beis Zera, Zdei Gefonim, Zdei Konim, Zdei Ilonis. It says Mefurish. What happens if the place has a vineyard? What happens if the place has trees? It says Ilonis. Minayit Hamaloimar Zdei Mikol Mokoim. Omalei Ochanami Poida v'Choizeru Poida. So in Ochanami. Now he doesn't answer. Maybe it's talking about that it doesn't have trees. Over here it's more mashma that has already trees. So he's going to answer, you're right. He's going to first redeem the land by itself, and then later on he's going to go and redeem the trees for their true value. Eisvei. Higdish shloisha ilonois mimata asor lebeisa. This is interesting. It's a very exact science. You could plant, the way to plant is 10 trees per saw. So the Gemara says, there's a famous halacha that if you plant less than 10 trees, it's no good, and if you plant more than 10 trees, it's no good. It has to be exact. If you plant more than 10 trees, then you're going to have to uproot them anyways. They can't nourish enough. If you plant less, then you didn't include the land. So this guy, he did exactly. He did 3 trees in the space that you could plant 10 trees. In other words, he didn't plant all 10, but he planted 3 in the proper spacing. In that case, the karka is included. Oh. So over here, it seems like the trees, if you stop right over here, without going weiter, it seems like the trees are included. All he has to do is pay a shekel and a pudyon, and he redeemed the land with the trees. You don't consider the trees different. Now what are you going to say? You're going to say, no, maybe it means, like we said a second ago, it's 2 separate things. The Gemara is only talking about the land. He's redeeming the land. The trees is separate. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, I got you. Because if you continue, it says Mefurish that the trees are separate. Memela, this part can't be that the trees are separate. What does it say? It says Pachas Mikan or Yeser Akan. If you planted less trees than 10 per saw, or he planted more, he was magdish each tree separately. He wasn't makdish the karka. Even if he was magdish the trees, when he was magdish the trees, what happens? Hekdesh gets the trees, the full value of the trees. Then he added to that the karka. That's not good. You can't take away from Hekdesh. Hekdesh was they already got the full value of the trees. Just because you added the karka doesn't mean we're going to take away from Hekdesh anything now. So therefore, so Memela, it says Mefurish in this brisa, a different case, that we split up the karka, we split up the trees. It can't be that the first part of the brisa is talking about that we split up the karka and we split up the trees. It has to mean that the first part of the brisa, so when a person redeemed was magdish 3 trees on with the right spacing, it says in the brisa, you paid it 1 shekel per quart. You can't say that it also meant over there, no, but later on you have to go and pay for the tree separately. Because the safe for the brisa says that you pay for the tree separately in a different case. So it can't be the same thing in the ratio. The Gemara says it's mamish b'debak seiner, and then you're going to say that the first part of the brisa is talking about two separate things. First, you pointed the karka with one sela, 1 shekel per cord. And then later on, you have to be pointed the tree separately. It can be, but in the second case of the seifa, where he first donated the trees, and then later on he donated the karka, it says you have to be pointed them separately. It says specifically that you pointed it separately. In the narration, it doesn't say specifically you pointed it separately. Obviously, 1 shekel is enough for the trees also. So that's a good enough kasha to say, this Bryce is going according to Reb Shimon, that's who says that when a person is magdish, he's stingy. He doesn't want to benefit hegdish at all. He does it in the worst way possible, and he includes all the trees in 1 shekel. Sanya. So now, how do I know that Reb Shimon says this? The Sanya Hamagdish is Asoda, Higdish is Kula. It includes a whole list of things. If I'm magdish a field, I'm magdish everything on the field. Reb Shimon Oimer, Lo Higdish Elo Choruv, Hamurko, Vesadan Ashikmo. It's not exactly clear. Over there, the Gemara really says that Reb Shimon was saying, according to you, at least you should admit that this Sadan, this Choruv, Hamurko, Vesadan Ashikmo, well-established trees that nourish from the land, it should include the land. Akoponim, according to Reb Shimon, you see that a person is magdish b'ayin ra. He doesn't want to give hegdish everything. He doesn't want to separate the trees from the land. You give one shekel, and that includes everything. Reb Shimon, we have another halacha that it can't be Reb Shimon, because Reb Shimon says something else. Reb Shimon name is sefer v'lo even he was magdish the trees, and then afterwards he gave the karka. He divides them up. First he's pointed them independently of each other. Reb Shimon has a chiddush that it goes by the time of redemption. And by the time that you're redeeming it, who cares that you first will magdish the trees and then you magdish the field? Before we said a svara, if you magdish the trees, so how much are trees? They're worth $1,000. Then you go and you magdish the field is worth $100, but you only give for the field, you give 1 shekel. So if you wouldn't have given the field, Hegdish would have redeemed it for $1,000. Now you added the field to it, you want to say that the trees are buttled to the field, and you should only give Hegdish 1 shekel. That's not fair. Hegdish already got $1,000 at Shabbos. You can't take that away from them by adding a field to it. Rav Shimon says no. I don't care in what order you gave it to Hegdish. I care about the final day. When he comes to redeem it, it's one package deal. At the time of redemption, they're together, so Mamela 1 shekel patters everything. That's what Rav Shimon says. Rav Shimon lays a bus of pidyon. He goes by the time of redemption. So it can't be because the Brisa says that you redeem them individually, and according to Reb Shimon, you should redeem them together with 1 shekel. The Shamina le Reb Shimon the Ozel Basa Pidyon. The Sanya, how do I know? This is an amazing case. A guy buys a field from his own father. What's amazing here? This field is going to be his anyways. He's going to get it to Yerusha, and it's going to be his de'achuzah. It's a Yerusha from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu gave it to his father, he gave it to Reuven, who gave it to his kids, and it just goes 1 year after another, 1 generation after another, keeps on going down. But this son wanted to get it first. He wanted to get it beforehand. So he goes and he pays his father money. The question is, can we add this de'achuzah to his purchase later on in life?
You mean? What does that mean?
Here.
Add this.
First, he bought the field from his father.
Yeah.
Then his father died.
Yeah.
Then he yarshined it. But he already bought it. There's nothing to yarshin. Had he not bought it, his father dies, he would get the field anyways.
Right.
Now that he bought it, perhaps the Yerusha only gives him one thing. He already bought it. The Yerusha gives him this de'achuzah status. It's his as his de'achuzah. That's the question here. Can we add his de'achuzah to a field that he already bought?
And if not, then what happens to that field?
So let's see. Let's see what happens. There's enough gemina here. La halacha.
But this is an issue about, at the end of the day, it's all the same anyways. It's the same. Going back on the point of this more right now.
Could you prove from here that it goes by the redemption?
Yeah.
By the time of redemption, yeah. Baruch atah Adin lo yedei v'cholam sha'kohen yibid v'roy.
Amen.
I didn't have internet today. So I don't have internet. Can't
Always
upload.
excuses to make my life harder.
Yeah.
That who's got flat rate of 50.
Yeah. If it's the achuzah, then he redeems it at 1 shekel a year. If it's a zdei mikna, as we said before, the Mishnah says in Daf Yomi things zdei mikna is zdei achuzah. Zdei mikna, all the difference is zdei mikna means I purchase it from somebody that owns it beforehand. Menayin lo lekech sodom ha'aviv v'higdisha, and step 2 was that he was magdish it before his father died. V'achar kach meis aviv. Menayin shtei lefonav gizdei achuzah, where you would have to do 50 shekel. It's 1 shekel per year. And not the true value. Tamadoymar imes dei miknosoi asher loy mizdei achuzasoi. Soda she'enor luyo liyo izdei achuzah. When is it a zdei mikna? When it couldn't yotzazu shiruy liyo izdei achuzah. This, if the guy wouldn't buy it, and memela, since it could have been izdei achuzah, then it turns into izdei achuzah anyways, even though he bought it off his own father. So here's the machlokes. Very simple. Both Ramei and Reb Shimon say the case is that a son bought it. The question just between Ramei and Reb Shimon is if the father died and then he was magdish it, or he magdish it and then he died. This is a much stronger case. A guy bought a field from his father. He went ahead and was magdish it when his father was still alive. He had zeros there, achuzah here. 25 years later, his father dies, and now he wants to say, oh, my father died, so the field that I was magdish 25 years ago should be his der chuzah, and now I'm going to pay hegdish 1 shekel per year. Rameir says, no, the pasuk is going at a much simpler case, not such a big chiddush. Son bought it, this father died before he's magdish it, so now I could hear, oh, the son got something, the father died, so he gave him the zdei achuzah status, then he was magdish it at the end. Okay, so now he's being paid for 1 shekel a year. That makes a lot more sense, but it's a much smaller chiddush.
Does it make any difference whether there's any other Yoshim involved in this estate?
He got this field. There are more Yarshim, but each one got 1 field. That's his field. Obviously, if he didn't get it completely, then
He's not Yerush.
he's not Yarshim. He didn't get
But
this.
it's the Yachuzah.
Then maybe how would it work with Zdei Achuzah and other Yarshim if one of the kids bought it? I don't know. That the hegdish came all the way at the end after the father died. They learn the same exact pasuk. They're just saying, what's the chiddush in the pasuk? Yotzazu, she's the achuzah. Says the Gemara, Ilu l'Rebbe Yehuda l'Rebbe Shimon afilu higdisha v'achkach meis. Av is the achuzah havi my taima. So according to Rebbe Shimon, even if the hegdish happened before the father died, he still has the status of the achuzah. He only has to pay 1 shekel per year. My taima imishum kra they could Rebbe Yehuda. If you're going to give me a pasuk, I'm going to tell you the pasuk says the much lesser chiddush. Remeir's case, that he's magdish it after his father died. It goes by the time that he's redeeming it, according to Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon doesn't care when he's magdish it if the father's alive or not alive. It goes by the pidyon, and by the time the pidyon, it's considered the achuzah. No, in that same pasuk, look, Rabbi say very simple. In this pasuk that the darshaning says, the Gemara, that the learning from the second misday. First it says v'misday, so really I don't need the second one. It should say asher loy achuzasoi. If the stay mikna is not his achuzah, but it says again misday, so from that extra word the darshaning, not because it's that we're going after the pidyon. We don't care about pidyon. It's not a good right to Reb Shimon that Reb Shimon goes after pidyon. Rather, he learns it from a word in the pasuk. The what? Reb Shimon kurash v'darosh kein nudar rachmana im misdei miknosei asher lo yachuzasoi. My misdei. Why the extra word? Sada she'enor lu'uya liyo izdei achuzah. But there's no raya whatsoever to this concept of Shas Pidyon. The whole point was you want to prove to me that Rav Shimon holds that we go by the Pidyon. How do you see it from this case? No, you don't go by the Pidyon. Over here, there's an extra word, Mizdei, and that's how he learns this concept that even if the son is Magdisha before the father dies, it still goes by Achuzah. Omer Papa. Here's a bunch of cases that a person dances on two chasanas. How does it happen? Omer Papa, Higdish Tiroshin. A person is Magdish a field full of stones, worthless. He can't plant anything. So on the one hand, you don't have Zdei Achuzah here. It's not Zdei Achuzah. Zdei Achuzah means a field that I could plant I could plant something on it. I can't plant anything on these slime, on these rocks. My time however, what happens in a case where he didn't redeem it? They go out in Yovel. My time, all of a sudden, you know what? Yeah, I think it is Zdei Achuzah. It's not Zdei Achuzah that I don't have to redeem it. I don't, yeah? But if I didn't redeem it, then all of a sudden it is a Sada in a way. My time, it is a Sada that at the end of the on Yovel it goes out, it comes back, but it's not a Sada that I don't pay 1 shekel, I pay by the shoivi, and it could be even less than a shekel.
Just from the generic word sada.
Sada is called it means any type of field. When it comes to the
Even if you can't plant.
yeah. But don't take that word to extreme and say even a field that's a rock, you have to be paid with a chaymezer sermon with 1 shekel per year. No, it does need to be planted, but it doesn't need to. That's what I said. You're dancing on two chasanas. You want to use both concepts to your advantage. Mocha Tiroshin.
Ellie, why not bring in the case where you want to make a chazaka on it? You can use it for like drying fruits or things like that. Like you could use it for something. Why doesn't the Gemara not bring
No,
it?
you could use it for something. Of course, you use it for something. But the Torah says that you're planting it. When it comes to this,
Just using it for something else.
yeah, that's the Gemara. Where's that Gemara? Baba Kama?
Same.
Baba Basra. Yeah, that's something else. That's in terms of chazaka. But over here, since the Torah talks about redeeming a field and it says Beis Zera, you have to be able to plant, then everything changes. On the other hand, maybe you're right. Maybe that's what the Gemara says. Sada, since I could use it for other stuff, so that's why it goes out in Yovel. Machat Roshin. If he sells. He doesn't give it to a hegdish. He sells rocks. Nigolim pachis mishtei shanim. Now he could go back to the guy he sold to. He doesn't have to wait. The typical 2 years you have to wait by every sale. Every sale, you have no right to redeem it before 2 years. But over here, he didn't sell a proper field. He sold stones. So stones, you go back and redeem it beforehand. So Mela, on the one hand, he's using this as a kula to his advantage. My time, when it says 2 years, it says mufurish, the next word, shnei, doesn't say 2 years. Shnei tvuos. You have to plant tvuo. And and these rocks are nothing. But on the other hand, again, we're going to use this to his advantage. My time of at the end of the day, it's his, how do you say achuz in English?
Inheritance.
It's
It's an inheritance.
Holding.
It's oh, that's much better. Homestead. That's even better. Homestead. I like that.
Homestead's only in the
Yeah.
west.
I know, it means be'oiches, but homestead is geschmack.
No,
Okay.
it's in English. It's freehold. Holding. Freehold.
Both good words. Better than the art scrolls.
I defer to you.
Ancestral.
Whatever is better for you.
Homestead is only,
Let's not
is
get
only
caught up in
America.
this. It was just an idea.
Yeah.
In America.
You go with it or
Is
not.
it?
It's a thing, isn't it?
homestead.
Freehold is.
Okay.
I got it. Okay, it's only an American concept, he said. I'm serious, that's what you just said. They don't have homesteads in
No
England.
homesteads in England.
Because the queen owns everything. You're not only, okay, fine.
What about the Queen?
We're going weiter with the dancing of two chasanas. Higdash Ilonos. He's magdish just the trees. Okay, so now it goes by their market value. My time of base zera omer achmana v'lo Ilonos. So it could go against him, it could go for him, whatever the tree is worth. Lo yiga'alon. And if he didn't redeem him, it doesn't go to the Kohen. Why? The Sada goes to the Kohanim, not the trees. But if he sold trees, not Magdish the trees, then you have to wait 2 years. My time is Shnei Tvuos. When the Torah says Tvuos doesn't necessarily mean wheat, it means a crop. But over here, these trees, they give produce, so mainly you have to wait 2 years. On the other hand, it doesn't go back to the owner. My time of it has to be a hold, a what? What do you call it? A holding.
Freehold.
Freehold. And trees are not a freehold. Omamar. So he just said, if he's magdish just trees, you pay hekdesh whatever the tree is worth, because it's not a field. Amai v'ligdishu agavarayu. Every tree has land underneath the tree. So since he was magdish the land with it, he was magdish the tree, it comes with the land. The pargo agavarayu. V'chitaymi lo nesagdish hara lo yagdish. And if you're going to say it doesn't come with the land, whoever sells a palm tree to his friend, he gets the land that's by the base of the tree all the way down to Australia. The Kitzer, you can't go 1,000 feet underneath, start digging and say that used to be my land. No, you sold everything. Says the Gemara, no. That halacha that Nardoy says, if a guy claims that that's what he bought, and he has a fight with the owner, with the seller, okay, I can hear. That's so Paskin, he gets the land because he opened his mouth. But without a fight, just selling a tree does not include land. Over there, Nahadari said it because he's arguing, he's saying that this is a story that happened. The Ma'aser Shoya is the guy sold me a tree with the land. But let's say there's no argument. He doesn't say no. He didn't say that he sold me the land. But he comes to bed and says, but I think I deserve land. Doesn't say, get out of here. You don't get anything. A tree does not include land. Bottom line is, tree doesn't include land. If you magdish a tree, then you just have to give the value of the tree and nothing to do with the land, because it doesn't include land.
Eli, what about a tree like this? It's an olive tree, no Jaffa.
Yeah, but this is, by the way, this is all roots. It has a little dirt in the
No,
roots.
there's no fine, but it's not in the ground.
Who asked this question? What about a tree like this?
I just sent.
Oh, you just
I
said
was
it?
just
You-
there.
No, but what do you? Who
no,
wrote this on the bottom?
Old Jaffa. Old Jaffa.
Ah, okay.
No, I'm just saying.
It's in Jaffa.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I'm saying if it's.
No, I think that's all part of the tree. That's all part of the tree. That's all the
there's
roots.
No land. How could it be?
Oh, if you just sell a tree like that, for sure there's no land. I'm saying even if it has land, it has no land. The Gemara just
That's
said.
the whole point. Is that
No,
it
the
has to
Gemara
have a
says that
base
even if it has
car.
land, it doesn't include
That's
land.
the base car between the trees in order for the roots. and
Right,
everything.
but if a guy plants the proper
Straight
trees and the proper spacing, then it doesn't include land.
Yeah, we said that.
This is not a tree
The
either.
three trees.
They make no noise in shop, Yov.
That's not
10
right.
No,
minutes.
this is a site for tourists.
They make no noise in shop.
Yeah,
Toner Rabbanon, b'michsas. B'michsas, the translation is the sum evaluation. Ma bo lilmoid, lefi shenemar zera chomer soirim b'chamishim shekel kesef. It has nothing to do with the sum. The Torah says there's a certain value. Each field, each kur you have to pay 1 shekel. Yochel they miknekain. I would think if you buy it off a person, not the actual person that inherited. The person that inherited sold it off to another individual. That's as they mikna. So I would think that you also have to redeem it by 1 shekel per kur. No, in that case you have to evaluate it. It's the sum evaluation. Reb Lezer, and that's what we have in our Mishnah. Reb Lezer says, "Nemakan v'chisha." He has exer shava. It says v'chisha. By Zdei Mikna it says chisha. V'never la'alam by Zdei Achuzah it also says v'chisha. Ma'ala'alam dovakotzu, just like by Zdei Achuzah it's 1 shekel. Afkan dovakotzu it's 1 shekel. And Mela, what does Reb Lezer say? They're both equal. As they Mikna as Zdei Achuzah are equal. The only difference is, he says, is that as Zdei Achuzah you have to add a chomesh. Remember the 25%, not 20%, and they make the not. Iboiluhu, Rabbanan who argue on Rebbe Lezer, is l'gzer shava umakin le'lechomesh. Do they argue that there's no Gzeir Shava at all between Mikna and Achuzah, and therefore I don't learn anything from the Gzeir Shava, not even the 25%, whatever fee it is? Maybe they argue on the whole Gzeir Shava, they toss it out, and there's zero Chomesh, or maybe no. Maybe that exactly is the Machloikus. There is a Gzeir Shava, Rabbi Eliezer learns the whole concept of Zdei Achuzah and Zdei Mikna is the same. It's 1 shekel per year. And Rabbanan are going to learn the concept of Chaimish. But there's a Gzeir Shava in the world. Rava Mistabra, let's leave Gzeir Shava. Rava says, no, zero Gzeir Shava. Since this concept of 1 Chaimish, you have it by a field and you have it by a house. Since it's 2 psukim that come together, Ein Melamdim, Taisus discusses, it's a Gzeir Shava, it's not a Gzeir Shava, do you say Ein Melamdim Gzeir Shava? Is it a Binyanav? Achoponim, says Rava, again, we have the concept of Chaimish in 2 different places. You have it by a house and by a field, but maybe I can't learn it to another concept called Zdei Mikna. Well, the man Melamdim, every time we have this thing of Shnei Ksum HaBag, the Gemara always asks, well, what about the other man that says you could learn out from 2 psukim? And the Gemara always answers, this is a 3rd pasuk, and when there's 3, then everybody agrees you can't learn out of 3. So here also, with the Gemara Rachmana Chaimish b'Meiser, you have to put a comma here. By Meiser Sheni, there's a Chaimish, you have to add a 5th, and b'Behemoth Torah, and if somebody was magdish a kosher animal, and the kosher animal had a mum, and you redeem it, you always have to add a chaimish. If somebody's magdish to the bedek habayis, a lion, and then he wants to redeem the lion. By the way, how much does a lion cost? Anybody? How much? It's a couple of $100,000, they said. I don't know if it's true. Yeah. How much? $200,000, I think it was. The kids is a lot of money. Or a cheetah. This guy. What? No,
Black market.
no, on the market. This a frum guy owns a place in South Africa called Lion Park. So his nephew was in our house. I don't know if it's a Maisa Shoya, Kamatoya, but this is the Maisa he just said when he was at our house in Shabbos. He said his uncle just bought 2 cheetahs for $250,000 each, and they dropped dead 3 days later. I don't know if there's go back to hammocks. I want my money back.
He didn't have a vet to check them out.
I don't know what happened. That was the Maisa Shikamato. He told me. Anyway, owned by Frum Peoples. Kedai to support them when you go to South Africa. Oh man, do amar lamdim. Midday go there. Achman achamish Maisa. Ve'emet Toru ve'emet Meyo. Havli Tuvo. So the Kitzur, we have many sources of Chaimish in different things. So the Torah tells us only these 4 or 5 things. And it doesn't include as they mikna. Says the Gemara, Rav was mechaben to the truth, but for the wrong reason. But he's mechaben to the truth. Tanya, it says in the price. It says by is they mikna, it says michsas, but it also says erkecha, and that's the sugi that we're learning. Arachin has no shaykhs to they mikna, but it's the Torah sticks in the word of Arachin. Marachin, Amos of Chaimish, Absnei Mikna, Amos of Chaimish, there's no concept of Chaimish by Arachin, and Mamela, just like Rava said, there is no concept of Chaimish, but Rava had his own svara that's Shliksuma Baruch Echad. The Brisa didn't like that, the Brisa had a different shot completely. But the outcome, the halacha is the same. There's no Chaimish by Zdei Mikna. Says the Mishnah.
He overpaid.
Yeah, how much is it?
It says here like $2,500 for a tiger
What?
cub.
Oh, where? What?
Tiger cub, $2,500.
No, tiger cub.
Yeah.
There's no tigers in South Africa. That's in India. It's a different matzah.
Okay, it says cats range from $900 to $2,500.
It's impossible because a dog could cost more than $2,000.
It's not true.
There's a picture in one
What?
of the newspapers about this.
On average, lion
Oh yeah, but for the lion part,
a
it's
lion
water.
cub is $1,500 to $15,000.
The guy told you like.
No, and how about an adult?
3 minutes.
He said cheetahs.
He was cheated when he watered.
Okay, we have to do research. The advice is very important. We're going to do the research later. Says the Mishnah. B'shar Amuid, Shehimis is Oevet L'Hakal L'Achim. That's the continuation of the first Mishnah of our parak. We have a Chumrah, we have a Kula. We're going Before we're talking about Ein Poichas Sin Vein Matirin, right? We went with all kinds of, not more, not less. Now we're going with the concept of Chumra and Kula. So you have the Chumra of Shar Mud, Keitzad, Echad Shemes is Anoah, Sheba Avodim, the same kind of thing. If it doesn't matter if your Shar Mud killed a slave, that's a very chashuv slave, Sheba Avodim, it's a Par Sheba Avodim, a good-looking one, a bad-looking one, more valuable, less valuable, Nois and Shloshim Sel. The Torah says 30 sell regardless. Hey, Ms. Ben Chayrin, what if he killed, your Shar Mud killed a free man, nothing to do with the slave, Nois and Shaviyov. And that's what the Torah calls Chayfer. You have to pay the value in the market for a slave. Right? He killed a chashuv, a younger man in the street, Rahman al-Islam. You take the younger man and you see how much you could sell him in a slave market. Whatever that's worth, that's how much the owner of the ox has to pay for the person. What if the ox caused damage, didn't kill a free person or a slave? Nois and Nezik Shalom. He has to pay the full value. B'muad in betam loy. A tam doesn't have to pay. Limas nisan loy Rebbe Kiva. It's not Rebbe Kiva Omer. Rebbe Kiva says a shar always pays Nezik Shalom when he damages a person. Even a tam. Aftam shechova ba'odam mishalim ba'moiser Nezik Shalom. So that's just a case of, let's say they got into a fight. The human being was trying to save himself. So he beat up the ox. He's hitting the ox, caused a lot of damage to the ox. The ox got him much better. So the difference between the nezik he caused the ox and the ox he caused him, that he has to pay nezik shalom. But even a tam, it says here, a tam, because according to Rebbe Kiva, it doesn't have to be mimud. Even a tam that did damage to a human being has to pay nezik shalom. So how come in the Mishnah doesn't say the case of a tam? The Mishnah starts off shor muad. Says the Gemara, afilu tamer Rebbe Kiva, wadin afilu tam nami. The Mishnah also meant the tam. When we're talking about death, that only applies to the mishpachas law, b'tam no mishkachas law. Since that whole part is only, should we stop here? Nachman, by Mishnah, it's kind of a long daf tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop here. We'll make it easier for the
Not sure everyone else did.
How much?